Hi and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about leeks. Now in France, in French cooking, we've been using that vegetable forever, and this is actually an extremely old vegetable, one of the oldest, being recorded as far back as the Middle Ages. Peasants were using it, as well as royalties, if they had some kind of cook. This was the one of the few vegetables they were using, and using the leaves, using the white section, all kinds of purpose. There is in Europe, as of today, 190 varieties recorded of this vegetable. In France only, we got 26 different ones, all shapes and size and taste. To be honest, I haven't tried them all at all, but it's very interesting. You can eat that vegetable, it has to be boiled and cooked, but you can have it cold. It's an absolute French classic, le poireau vinaigrette. I cannot stress enough how people love that poireau vinaigrette with a bit of, again, a kind of a cucumber, like a cream dressing. Otherwise, you'll find it usually in stews, in soups, quiches, tarts, and anything like that. So it's got a lot of use. Another interesting fact that's medical. Leeks is also called like the intestinal broom, a bit of an odd name from what I read, but actually it's got all the salt and mineral you need, good for the gut health, and it will absolutely go down your system and cleanse everything, from polishing the interiors of your guts and make sure you've got all the right minerals, restore the balance of everything. So if you have not been eating leeks, it's maybe time for you to get started. But how do we use the leeks in French cooking? This is what we're going to see in our technical video. So let's get started. Alright, welcome back. So again, today we set up our station, chopping board, product, the end product here, so we can have a nice view, and again the container for the peel. So as a little reminder, this is called a mobile station. Always set up yourself before you start. Now in French cooking, how do we use or do we prepare a leek? Okay, so this is your raw product. As you can see, when you get it, you can have all kinds of leaves, and as you can see here already, this is a bit dry, etc. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna just get rid of the untidy and badly looking little leaves. First step. Okay, so we get something a little bit cleaner to work with, and we can start. This is the next step, the end of the leek. So again, always working by hand. We don't need to go on the board. You're gonna cut and make sure you remove the base of the leek, so it's nice and clean, there's no dirt, etc, etc. Okay, so you got this bit that is cleaned. We'll get the back of the leek that is clean. You can smell the flavors already. Nice. Now, next step is to remove some of the extra leaves like this, you see, that you may not need. Now, instead of, the one thing not to do is to tear the leaf and start peeling the whole thing, because you're gonna, that's gonna be a big disaster. What is, again, from her book, what is said you have to do, as you can see here, you see that little bit and these little lines? You need to basically make a little incision just deep enough to cut the skin. And we're gonna go all the way to try to detach that main leaf. Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna try to plant your knife, and you just do a very small incision. And that should be just enough to detach nicely without effort, because that's like we like to work. And we're getting a nice dirty leaf that we peel off. Now you can repeat the same process over and over, as if you have too many leaves. Okay, when this is done, this one looks all right for the moment. What we're gonna do next, we're gonna have to clean this, but as you can see, there's a lot of leaves and it's hard to get in between everything. So what we do, we take a paring knife, and you're gonna make an incision basically on the leek, halfway. Okay, turn it again, and then you're gonna make the same incision on the other side. Okay. And what's happening now? You got all of the leaves, and you can see, look, dirt's revealing itself. And this is basically to be able to clean it more. That part, you know, it's gonna be clean because it's very tight. If you got some extra leaves that are really falling apart, you can get rid of them, you know. But again, not too many because you want to keep your vegetables. So next thing, we're gonna go on the sink and using some running water, you basically can see a little bit on the side here, you clean all of the stems. Now, I know, sorry, it takes a little time, but basically I'm back here. As you can see, we've got our leek like this, and it's basically nice and clean and ready to be worked on. Okay, now what can we do with that leek? The first part we're gonna use in French cooking for soups and anything like this, it's gonna be the very green bits. So you could, this one is not very nice. You could basically cut this part. Okay, as you can see, there's still some little dirt. Always make sure if you're gonna reuse it, you know, that's gonna be for later on. So we're gonna put it back in the product section here. And that will undergo another wash because this is not clean. Okay. So this is back in our product, and that's going to be for a second phase. So you leave this for soups, anything that you might need that becomes a bit of our recycle bin. Okay. So we got a bit of an extra leaf here. Get rid of that. Now, in terms of the use of the leek itself, you can use it mince a lot of time for all kinds of preparation. So it's the same thing. You will take your knife and you start mincing, and you mince away. You can use these in all kinds of sauces or for stews, anything like that. You get a nice minced leek. Okay, that's for all kinds of preparation. Okay, that's one step. If you want to make another cut, you can make a julienne, which in this case I would need a flat bit. So let me get rid of that for the demonstration. Okay, I'll keep this for later. The julienne, apparently from her book, says, you know, you will need a little piece. Take a little piece out here, and you basically cut it in half. This is not something I've been doing, but in some, in some recipes it's used, but it's mostly for decoration. So what you do, you take a few, they're like cards, you see. You basically take a few of the skins, put them nice and flat over here, and the julienne is basically a very, very thin slice of leek. So, you know, this one may not be perfect, but to give you an idea, this would be called somehow of a julienne of, now you see the sticks, they're very, very thin, and that's gonna be a julienne of leek that you may sprinkle on some plates at the end. So I'm gonna put nicely here so we can see. Okay, we've got our mince product over here, and we've got the julienne over here. Okay, that's another use for the leek. So you can repeat the process. I'm not going to do it again because again we don't have too much time, etc, etc. So mince number 1, julienne of leeks number 2. If you were to use this is a bit too small because I use only 1 leek, but you know, you can keep that that kind of size. If you are to eat these bits with a vinaigrette, that's what we like in France. Usually you have them with a tiny little bit of green. You basically take the whole product like this and make sure there's no hard bits, so you maybe get rid of a little bit more over here. Nice and clean. And you will pair it with another bunch of those, so you can put like 2 or 3 together. tidy up with a kitchen string. I'm not doing it now because that's going to be part of another lesson. But you basically make a bunch of those and you will cook them in salty, boiling water. Okay? Once they're nice and tender, you take them out, you have to cool them down, and you will be serving them just the way they are. They will become very soft, and you serve them on a plate, and you can cut them in half with a nice vinaigrette on top, and that makes for an absolute classic French starter. Okay, so there we go. That finalizes it. We went for our big leafy product to our end product over here, and the mince leek, the julienne, and this is for when you want to make it whole as a poivreau vinaigrette. And that concludes our video for the day. So I hope you've learned something today, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.